Hey everyone, welcome back to another Graviteam video. Today we're going to talk some tactics and do a brief tutorial on how to create a battle line and front line. So someone asked this question in the comments. They were like, Joe, how do I create like a good front line in order for my units to attack? And that's kind of like very vague what they asked, but that's pretty much their question. So I'm going to show you how to create this basic front line. And the question also was like, how do I get my units to face a certain direction? So let's just start by creating this front line first. So this is all done during the deployment phase. You have several different options down here on how you want your units to be deployed: sparse, reverse V, V, line, or column. So let's just do line. These units their positioning is based off the commanders. Like if you look at this screen, you notice how all the commanders except for this one down here, just to make me a liar, are not in the correct spots. But if we were to move this unit around, it's basically we're moving the commander and the units go around him. Kind of weird, different. So let's get started. So now that we have our front line basically deployed, let's say we want to face to the right, or we want to face straight, or we want to face at a 45 off this 90-degree angle. So think of this as like a 180-degree plane. We are playing in like 360, but if we were just to give this unit a move order this way, they would just turn around and advance this way. So let's right click real quick. Now we're presented with our movement wheel. We've talked about this extensively, but we're going to talk about it again. I'll be sure to link the video. We're going to right click the movement identifier. You can do this with any one of these, including the defense one. Understand that the defense one is a bit different than all the other identifiers, and it's quite special, and it kind of influences how your AI acts. So we're just going to go with move. So now we have all our modifiers up. We can select we can say 3 lines, 2 lines, 1 line. We can tell them how far apart to be, how dense to be, or how sparse to be. And we can click this right here, line formation. And then we can select column if we wanted them to move in a straight line. So let's do 2 lines. Let's say normal, and let's say move. So now our move unit, now if we were to select any other one of these units and give them a move command, it's automatically defaulted to what we want it to be. 2 lines, normal, line formation. So remember when I was talking about how to like rotate these line formations? So let's give this unit move straight. We're going to have the unit over here on our left side approach at a 45, and then we're going to have this unit over here do a complete facing this direction. All right, just like that. So let's hit start. Let's watch everyone move. So your line formation is always going to be based off of the direction that you select the move icon. See, remember how we said requested that this unit move kind of at a 45 degree. This unit moves straight, and this unit does a complete 90-degree rotation and moves. Now if we were to grab this unit and tell them to do another 90, we would just select over here, select move. Then they're going to readjust their movement and create a line formation going that way. Same thing with this unit. Let's say we want them to face 90. We need to select that 90 degree. And they're all going to start rotating. And then lastly, let's grab this unit over here and let's have them face this other direction. So there is no face. You can rotate your units, and that's only going to change the direction they look. So I'm going to show you that right now. Let's grab this unit right here that's facing this way. We can only give this unit a complete 180-degree turn. See how our commanders, let's see which way they're looking. Let's get a look at this guy. It don't matter. All right, let's make them look to the right. All right, so we'll grab this and we'll say look that way. Everyone just did a right face. All right, now let's say we want them to look behind us. Just like that. And then if we wanted them to look forward, they look forward. All right, now let's reset up our line formation. Let's start grabbing units right here. Let's just have them move like that. And they all start getting in position. We really need them to move a bit further. Oh my god. Let's just go like this. Thank you. I kind of wanted them to line up with that unit, but, you know, you get what you can when you're fighting an AI. So this unit probably just needs to do a formation change like that. So now we have our formation reset back up. So we're spread pretty far out. We're attacking this village across a wide open field. So let's do a quick little battle assessment. Ideally, if we wanted to assault this village, we would want to overwhelm them, one, with firepower, with units, and with force, and just pure violence of action, for lack of a better word, because they're going to be entrenched in this village. We're going to have to dig them out, and in order to avoid a battle of attrition, we're going to need a bit of firepower. We can also spread these units out and do like kind of an encircling motion. We can have this unit kind of approach at a bit of a 90 this way. We can have this platoon over here approach the same way, and then we can have this unit approach straight on. And lastly, we can have our tanks. I would prefer to have our tanks really close to our main assaulting force, because they're going to need to be supported heavily. So let's go in and let's push our units for an assault. And just like that, we found people. Alright, so we're slowing back down, and let's just start assaulting. Alright, remember our assault command, if we right click it, is one line formation. They're dense. We want them normal. We're going to change it, and we're going to do 2 lines. Just like that. And they're going to assault, and now we're just going to start pushing in. Smokes out. Lots of cover, lots of firepower. We have no surprise. We just need to basically break the will of this village, crush these units over here on the right side. We don't want to expose any of our flanks. If we start getting attacked and our flanks break, we can begin to get surrounded. So we have our tanks pushing up right now. So a lot of this was used in like Korea, like during the Korean War. The North Koreans and Vietnamese would assault really thin US lines with probing attacks, and I know we talked about this in our last video. They would break those lines, and they would essentially push through, wrap around the units, isolate them, and destroy them. So how that was changed, and I would try and figure a way out how to simulate it, is with the tuck and roll, or the fight and roll. US forces were also told to let the assaulting forces kind of break their lines later during the war, and just form a tight, well-defended area, dig in, and if you felt the line starting to break, you were supposed to fight till the last moment, fall back, fight, fall back, fight, fall back, fight. So during the night, when the opposing force of the North Koreans would break the U.S. lines or do probing attacks and start to surround them, the U.S. forces would be super entrenched in their position, and then if they start to get overwhelmed, they would fight, fall back, fight, fall back, fight, fall back, fight, and always maintain better battle positions. So right here you can see the AI chose like a pretty well defended area. They have some cover, trees, a bit of a downhill slope. Looks like they're already starting to fall back. We have to force this fight across a wide open field. Luckily there's no the enemy doesn't have any heavy artillery, anything like that, so that's fantastic. Let's push our assault. Let's grab our other flank right here. Our tanks are beginning to engage. Let's push our assault, and let's grab our left flank over here and just continue to have them wrap around and push the assault into the village. And we're slowly going to collapse on everyone. Our tanks are starting to engage. If we select him, hit Q, we can watch him engage the units. Alright, they're using some light gunfire. Cannons out. Look at that. What did he fire right there? Personnel. We can't even look at his ammo right now. He has, look at all that. Oh yeah, none of them are going to have a fun time. Let's hit Q to get off the tank. Head up here. We have 2 tanks engaging these units. We're basically falling back. They're just trying to find a good defensive position. But here comes some heavy machine guns. They have identified a unit, and they really don't like that one dude. Slowly working on engaging. Let's push our tanks a bit up. Machine guns out. Look at all that. See, look at this gap we have right here. This is not good for us. So if we were to, we could easily get flanked and encircled right here. We need to maintain formation, right? And we really need these units to start assaulting better and getting up in position. And we kind of have a gaggle forming right here. So I would prefer us to kind of break off and start assaulting straight and let this unit manage its own flank. Because any sort of mortar, anything like that, like these two platoons are just basically done for. Just with some good focused artillery, they're gonna have a really bad time. Let's push our tanks up a bit. Let's fast forward, get our lines reformed. Everyone's like, what we're doing here is we're fighting the AI. The AI is looking for cover. They're looking for any spot they have any sort of concealment, because you know no one wants to get shot. So we have our platoon pushing right up the middle. They're looking for cover as well. We really need our tanks to start providing some fire support. They're all identified a unit out there. Tanks are definitely providing heavy machine guns. These are our Panzer IVs. Let's take a look at our Panzer IVs. They're super cool. I love how everything's really well detailed in this game. So they're definitely able to do some anti-infantry sweeps with that. Our infantry is basically going to walk into this village almost uncontested. We need to watch this right flank though. So we should give these units some support over here on the right side. Let's check on, they're not too in dupad, their morale's good, it's maintaining our tanks. I think it's best. We need to slowly start bringing this left flank in, collapse on this village, and we'll just push everyone out. We got some contacts right here, long. Let's make sure our flank isn't really exposed. Let's just continue our assault down the road. Let's keep an eye on this right flank. We don't want them to start breaking or taking heavy casualties. Because if we look here, it looks like there's a really entrenched enemy. I think we divert these tanks over to here with an assault. And we keep pushing this unit down the mid. There's not much resistance in the middle of the village, which is good, so we're just going to keep pushing with an assault. Tanks are going to expose their flanks though, which is not ideal, but it's perfectly fine. We know there's no anti-tank in here, and we actually are beginning to dominate the village. And I know we're doing a lot of microing. Normally you typically wouldn't do this. Basically what we should do is we should sit and wait and see how this battle develops. Because at any point, if we get overextended or out of cover, these tanks are basically our backbone and our support. We still have a small gap right here, which isn't ideal. We could easily get flanked. Our left flank just really isn't obeying the battle line. And it's hard because you're fighting an AI. Like, the AI is going to seek cover. They're not just going to walk in the line and get shot by mortars, like right here. We could spread them out a bit with a bit of a sparse command, and that should force them out. But either way, like this, if we go and observe how this battle's evolving over here, is we're already pushing this enemy off, and they're just getting deeper and deeper. Our units are getting more into the village, which is providing them with better cover. Look at that explosion, 2 tanks up. That's the thing. And once we get into this village and force everyone off, it's pretty much game over for the AI. I mean, this battle's already won. Unless we start taking heavy commander casualties, we're not going to lose. But they also didn't engage us as we were walking across this open plain. Like, any heavy sort of mortars or anti-tank, we would have definitely lost this battle, or at least taking a lot more casualties than we needed, and needed to rely more on our tanks. So if we watch this battle develop and things, like, it's an evolving situation. Our left flank's holding strong. So if we do a quick assessment, their morale's up. Everything's good for them. Our right flank's pretty much in the village. They're exposing themselves a bit. If there's an enemy deep back here on this whole flank, this gap's widening, but our left flank's starting to close it. So that's actually really good. Our tanks are finally up front. They're going to do some heavy suppressive fire. And it looks like we have a bit of a situation over here on this right side. It looks like they are getting forced out of their position. So this right flank's kind of collapsing and they've lost the momentum. I think we need to push an assault up and we need to turn smokes on. No one's even popped any smokes. There's not much resistance over here on the left side. We'll probably flush those two units out. Mortars are starting to fall and they're going to hammer this whole right flank. So we have a small pocket of resistance right here that our main assaulting force has identified. Flanks are exposed, but they're going to root them out real quick. This tank's providing us with some cover fire. That's why I wanted to push our tanks forward. Ideally, this field's wide enough that we don't need to worry too much about anti-tank. No one's going to run across this field. There's not a lot of roads, so we don't need to be too concerned. If we were deep in the village, like over here, like driving our tanks down this road, I would be way more concerned with anti-tank infantry pushing through these small gaps. But we're still engaged out here on this flank. But that's basically it. That's how you form a pretty good battle line. This battle's already won. All we're going to do is push this force right here, our main assaulting force, straight down this middle. We're going to get our our right flank re-involved right here. Their issue is, looks like they lost a commander down a while ago. So we're going to give them two lines, and we're going to have them do a bit sparse. And we're just going to have them assault up. That's pretty much it, guys. That's this battle. We're in this village. We've already pushed them out of their heavily defended position. Ideally, it's like violence of action, use of force, overwhelming firepower. Would have liked to have isolated a few of these units. Our tanks definitely performed way better than I thought they were going to. They stayed mainly out of tight spaces in the village, didn't take many casualties, and that's this battle. Peace out, guys.